Today we're with a very special nonprofit. It's a Fox Cities original, and the history goes way back. There's pieces as old as 1500, all the way up to contemporary art pieces like this. Today we're at the Bergstrom Mauler Museum of Glass in Neenah, Wisconsin. Let's check it out. So glass art really elicits a feeling of wonder. You're taking something we're very used to being solid and you're manipulating it in a liquid form. That's what inspired Evangeline Bergstrom. And that's where all this started. Really, one passionate person collected paperweights, very unique ones. And when she and her husband passed away, they donated their house. This is their home, their fireplace. They donated it to the city, and now it's become truly a hub for art and community here in the Fox Cities. Let's learn more about how it's become a community hub.
So Bergstrom Mauler is a museum focused on glass, but it's more than just a museum. It's a center to ignite imagination and spark fun. We are in many ways a creative village. We certainly have a physical museum, but we also have great outreach in the community as well. So the basis or the core of the museum are four very important but distinctive collections. Our paperweight collection, our contemporary glass collection, our Germanic glass collection, and our Victorian glass collection. So those are the four cornerstones in terms of what we display. And we are known for having the most encyclopedic paperweight collection on view in the country. So that's a real point of pride, certainly for the museum, but also for the community as well.
It's one of the several museums in Wisconsin that grew up in the industrial age where, in this case, it was the paper industry money that created the foundation of the collection. Part of the specialness of us is our history itself, but then some of the decisions of some of the administrators and the executive directors who ran the museum in years past made some very good decisions to diversify a little bit, play off of that wonderful original collection, but also get into what's new and what's happening now through contemporary glass. So I think the combination of the two has a solid foundation that's always going to be growing.
And then downstairs, we have these remarkable classrooms and glass studios as well.
The glass studio itself is a wonderful resource for the community in the Fox Cities because it offers a specific artistic education in making glass art, which is extremely unique.
We really want to use the terminology, it's your museum. You have an opportunity to come see remarkable works of art that are made by leading artists of today, as well as those of recent past. But you also have an opportunity to take a flame working class or learn how to make a snowman self-portrait or beautiful sun gazer activities. Ways that we really focus on community is by having those moments, by being able to sit down and to make something together with a friend or a loved one, we're building community in that way.
We want to expand and turn the museum out and influence the community. So what we have planned with Amy's help and her new leadership is we want to do a lot more community events. And we want to host a lot of community events. We want to bring people to the museum because they're interested in music or eating at a food truck or see chalk artwork out on our driveway, that sort of thing. And we want to partner with the surrounding communities to bring more of a community festival event with Bergstrom Mauler Museum as an anchor.
But one area that I see tremendous growth for us is being able to work with the community in a larger way. And I mean that very broadly, enmeshing ourselves even more in the community, whether that be with reaching out and being partners with other organizations or developing a very strong network of support and sharing with museums in Wisconsin and further afield. We want those opportunities to be able to bring really remarkable artwork to the people that live here in the Fox cities, but also allow that opportunity to have artists come and work with our community.
The other thing is we're free and open to the public every single day that we're open. And so if you want a workspace and you just want to clear your head and come and look at some beautiful artwork, but bring your laptop with you and enjoy the free Wi-Fi, you're welcome to come in and work on your resume or your term paper. An art museum is a wonderful place to come and take a break. But it's also a wonderful place, like I mentioned before, to maybe take a break from work and work remotely, right? So we have beautiful grounds. You can come here and sit in a beautiful setting, look out over the lake, and still work from home, right, or work remotely. You can use our galleries to do the same thing. You bring your family, your children are welcome here. There's really something for everyone. We offer programming and education for seniors with memory loss through the Sparks program. We partner with organizations to bring those folks in. So whether you're 5 years old or 85 years old or 95 or 100, there's something here for you.
Find out something new about how glass is being made. Take a class with a friend or a first date. We want to be many things to the community here at the museum.
So Bergstrom Mauler is located between the Fox River and beautiful Lake Winnebago in Neenah. Like I said, a community hub. Now, let's see how to make things out of glass.
My name is Taylor Molleroy. I'm the studio manager at Bergstrom Mauler Museum of Glass, and I'm going to demonstrate how we make a bead while flame working. I actually was an intern here back when I was in college. I wanted to originally be a curator in a glass museum, and when I was here I got to actually intern for the past studio manager. So it gave me an opportunity to kind of learn the ins and outs of both jobs, and I just couldn't help it. I just needed to stay in the studio, needed to keep involved in making art, and then just enjoy the preservation of it that the curator does. We buy these glass rods from a company that makes glass out in Portland, Oregon, and we melt these rods as much as we need to create smaller objects. We have pretty small torches, relatively speaking, and soon we'll get big enough torches for paperweights, but for right now, these are the perfect size for beads. So what I'm doing here is I'm slowly melting little beads of glass, and then as it gets hot, it gets to about a pea size, I'm going to touch it down onto my glass and just keep adding layers. So right now that bead looks a little bit chunky and sloppy, but that's okay, because I'm just going to keep adding layers and keeping it warm in the background. And then eventually, once I've added all my layers, that's when I can put my glass down and just use heat to round my bead out. So I'm always keeping my bead in the background, which can be a little bit like patting your head and rubbing your belly. Definitely requires a lot of concentration and multitasking. We don't want it to get too cold, because if we let it get too cold or room temperature, it will crack, because glass does not like to cool down quickly. So now we're just going to use the heat and slowly let it condense itself. So this is a stringer I pulled earlier. I basically got a glob hot on the end of my rod and pulled it super, super thin. And these are nice because it's easy to add smaller detail, and they're going to heat up very quickly, so I don't need to wait for it to heat up. So I can just heat up that little tip, touch it down, and pull away. The fun part about this is I can decide as I go along what I want this to look like. the plan can always change. So sometimes I leave my little dots up and textured, and if I just melt them a little bit more, I can smooth it out. So again, really heat and gravity are my biggest helpers here. I'm wrapping up this bead here. I'm gonna move it back into kind of the cooler part of the flame here, which again means about 1,000 degrees. And I'm slowly going to let it cool itself down. I'll know it's cooling down because it's not glowing quite as red and orange. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it over to something called an annealer. So it's slowly gonna cool this bead down to room temperature over about 12 hours. And when I'm done, I'll be able to pull off this bead and stick it on top of a wine stopper. And there you go, there's a bead. So they can check out our Facebook. There are events on our Facebook that talk about all of the different classes we offer. But I encourage people to check out our website because there are some great descriptions on there that are a little bit lengthier if you're looking for more information, and you can sign up right on our website.
So there you have it, the Bergstrom Mauler Museum of Glass in Neenah, Wisconsin. Thank you for watching. Definitely check them out. They have tons of classes. They have a boardroom that you can rent. You can have meetings. You can even just hang out and work remote. Definitely tons of beautiful pieces to be inspired by and lots of great history. I'm Evan Frymuth. Make the most of your day.